So hi, I'm Mark Bailey. I'm here today with Carlos Mena, our solution architect for the Rocky Mountains. And we're here to talk about our HP cloud strategy. And we always start this discussion with a one-word vocabulary lesson about HP Helion. A lot of people think of it as a product, and you'll hear people refer to buying Helion. We even do that inside of HP. Helion is a brand for all that we're doing in the cloud space, and it lets our customers build, manage, and consume cloud services. So the Helion value proposition really centers around three concepts: openness, hybrid, and enterprise. And by enterprise, we mean that our solutions are secure, they're reliable, and they focus on the challenges of enterprise business today. Hybrid means that we can build and consume services from a variety of sources, and that's what Carlos is going to talk to you about. And this concept of openness implies not only that our solutions are built on open standards and open source software, which they are, but also implies a choice of things like hypervisors and managed service providers that allow our customers genuine choice. So now we're going to build a cloud. So I'm going to turn the conversation over to Carlos.
So what we want to do with this whiteboard is to be able to translate some of the concepts that we've been talking about and presented in the slides and make it meaningful to the customer so they can visualize it in their environment. We start with the networking layer. Everything needs to be interconnected with a network. This will provide the reach of your cloud system. From that, we'll need a layer that actually gives us compute power. And that can actually come in different ways. So we have physical systems, and we can have virtualized systems. The computers will need an area for storage, so we'll always have some storage devices available for the systems to use. At this layer, we'll need a hypervisor. And we talk about VMware, we talk about Hyper-V, KVM. These are the mechanisms that'll take and create this into a virtualized system, but this is not a cloud system yet. And a lot of customers will talk about this as we have cloud in our environment. This is just a virtualized system. We then take create a layer here where we add the cloud software. For us, this is where we start talking about OpenStack. Then our system adds a layer of management. And that actually comes through a component called the Cloud Service Automation. This component will actually give you the ability to manage your cloud and give you the ability to tap into other resources that we need once a cloud is up and running. Some of those things that we have, we can have orchestration. We can have management portals. Orchestration is basically, I have a computer, what's the value of it at that point? Really not much. We really need to add software products, whether it's your database system, whether it's your antivirus, whether you need to set certain ports. Orchestration will go out and call resources that'll do that and actually get your system to a point where it adds value. When we look at this then becomes our cloud. And where this resides will determine what type of cloud it is. If the customer owns it and they run it in their environment, we're going to call that a private cloud. But there are other clouds out there. When you look at it, there are public clouds. And basically, they have the same type of layout and infrastructure, but they have it somewhere else. You don't have direct access to it. You just get the service that they provide. Examples of that, you have Amazon Web Services. You have Microsoft Azure. You have our HP public cloud. And then you can actually take this infrastructure and have it hosted somewhere. So let's say use a HP hosted facility. Now I have all these components, but they're somewhere else that is being managed by HP employees. I can either own the hardware or I can lease it. There's a lot of different mechanisms of providing that we can use. So as we look at all this, we want to start centralizing it so there's a single point of connection. And that is where this CSA component becomes critical. Because this component will then be able to leverage these resources that exist outside. So now that we look at it, everything is now centrally managed. I get a view of all these resources, and I can now start creating services where somebody can come in, make a request for a service, and I can decide which way to go. Is that an Amazon service? Is that an internal service? Or should we go somewhere else? So to do that, the CSA component provides several access points. And these access points allow you to do different things. The first one is the consumer. That's your generic user. Sort of like the person who uses their iPhone to click on an icon and gets their game or whatever it is that they were looking for. That's the consumer experience. We have a portal that'll actually give that experience to the customer. To set all that up, we need an admin side. These are the guys that understand everything that's been set up, and they're the ones who are deciding where the resources come from when somebody requests something. And then the last one is, if you're a programmer and want to leverage this, you can call APIs and invoke a system and have it configured the way you need to. These are the things that now comprise our cloud. This is the bigger picture. This is the hybrid cloud that HP talks about. So as we go back and we start looking at all these different things, we can actually HP productize this. We can talk about HP networking at this layer. All right, so you have HP Net. We can start talking about our ProLiant systems, our Blade systems. We can start talking here about 3PAR. We can start talking about VSA. We can then look at this component and say, hey, we actually have a name for this. This is our converged systems. HP doesn't specifically have a hypervisor, but we leverage the ones that exist in the environment. This component is now an HP OpenStack. So it becomes our HP Helium product, and this part is called Foundations. This is the base component for our cloud service. The next layer up is our Cloud System Enterprise, which adds this, plus the CSA, which is an HP product, Cloud Service Automation, and an orchestrator. We use Operations Orchestration. We can then add other HP components or even outside components to leverage. So we can take and we can leverage things like Chef, Puppet. We can leverage things like HP DMA for setting up databases, middleware, all automatically. We can use SA, server automation. We can use NA, network automation. We can use Sidescope. I still need a management component for my Blade systems, so I can use, on this side, I can still use OneView. Now I'm taking all these components and making it specific to HP. So the first part was the conceptual version of it, but also when you start looking at it from an HP perspective, these are where we play. We play in all these different areas, and this is how you can take a deal and make it much bigger than it is. Because HP can take it from all the way to the bottom, all the way to the outside. And that's the value of HP. So now that we've gone through the actual description and we've actually presented something that is meaningful and that people can understand because it leverages things that they deal with every day. But from a sales perspective, then what becomes the ask? What is it that you as a salesperson can actually do to help move cloud business in your deals? And it actually boils down to two basic things that we ask. Number one is that you sell Cloud System Enterprise. Cloud System Enterprise will give you all of these components. It'll give you the cloud service automation. It'll give you these different portals and entry points into the system. It'll actually give you the orchestration component, our operations orchestration, and it'll give us our base OpenStack foundation. The next thing is, for this to be successful, you also need to position services with your customers, because for them to be successful, for them to truly realize the value of these things, they need to have services. So when you go into an account and you want to talk about cloud systems, this is the simple mechanism for you as a salesperson to be able to position this. Cloud System Enterprise, and add services to make it successful.
So as an EG sales rep, what is our ask of you? And it's really very simple. We ask that you bring your cloud team into your customers so that we can have the kind of conversation that we just had, and that we ask that you sell Cloud System Enterprise with services with every deal. So Cloud System Enterprise is really very simple to sell. There are 3 SKUs, one for software, one for the support of that software, and one for installation. We can bundle them together on any order with a promotional discount that's good through the first half of 15.